Many members of Congress have said their vote today on rules for impeaching President Trump could be one of the most historic votes of their entire career. Now we turn to someone who cast one of those votes today, Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal. She is part of the Democratic majority on the Judiciary Committee, which is slated under what are now the rules to draft any potential articles of impeachment. We're also joined by a progressive radio host who's interviewed Speaker Pelosi and many other leaders along the way in this arena, Mark Thompson. Good evening to both of you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And happy Halloween.
Same to you.
To you.
What did your vote mean to you today?
It was a sad day. I think it was a really sad day that we are at this point where we had to cast a vote about an inquiry into presidential abuse of power. So I don't think there was no cheering on the floor after we voted or anything like that. This is a case where the president has clearly, with mounting evidence from all corners, utilized the power of the White House to ask a foreign ally to interfere in our election, dig up dirt, and withhold aid that Congress had already appropriated. The weird thing about this case, I think, is that the most compelling witness came right at the beginning, directly to the people, and it was the President of the United States. Everybody else has been corroborating information, some more damning than others, but the most damning is the President's behavior. So I think it was a tough day for everybody, but obviously we're very unified that at the end of the day, this is a betrayal of national security. We have an oath to uphold the Constitution, and we had to take this vote, and we had to move forward the proceedings.
This impeachment probe on the Ukraine issues started with the Intelligence Committee,
right,
which is versed in these issues, which has under the law a special access to information and deals with the whistleblowers. But it ends either way with the Judiciary Committee. Either you and your colleagues write up articles of impeachment or you don't.
Correct.
What can you tell us now that we're there about that? When's the last time you met with your colleagues on the committee? What are you going to do next?
Well, it actually ends with the floor of the House if we write up impeachment articles, because
but if
then
you
they would
don't
go.
write them up, the House doesn't get them.
If we don't, it would end with us. That's correct. And so yesterday we had a meeting of our Judiciary Committee members. We're talking constantly with the chairman, also with the speaker. And, you know, we are just preparing ourselves to receive information. That's the next step. We're going to receive information from the Intel Committee, reports from also OGR, whatever information is there. It may not mean that everything that is on the table is ready to bring to us, but whatever is ready, we will receive it. We will take a look at it.
Let me press you a bit. You already have the Mueller report. So whatever you get from Ukraine on that issue, you also have the entire Mueller report and you've had time to work with it.
Correct.
Do you think there are any potential articles of impeachment that are on the table from there?
Well, I think, you know, often an article of impeachment will be around the high crime and misdemeanor. So obstruction of Congress, there's certainly lots of obstruction of Congress in the Mueller report, even if we start with what's happened with Ukraine. So I think there are ways that if we were to craft articles of impeachment, that you would see other things coming into it. I don't think that even if we craft articles of impeachment that you're going to see many, many of them. I think we are going to be, we're going to try to be focused and just bring forward the things that are most important for us to vote on, because they are serious betrayals of the Constitution.
That lays out the case and also your responsibilities. And like others we've heard from today, you're not saying that there's anything joyous about it.
No.
Mark, on the Republican side, one of the points that they are making that is appealing regardless of the underlying offenses is something many Americans feel, which is we settle most things at the ballot box. This is an extraordinary remedy that is being considered. And that allows some Republicans to make an argument that doesn't involve defending what Trump did or didn't do on Ukraine. Take a look.
This impeachment is not only an attempt to undo the last election, it is an attempt to influence the next one as well.
Democrats are trying to impeach the President of the United States 13 months before an election.
The country next year will be deciding who our president is going to be. It should not be Nancy Pelosi and a small group of people that she selects.
Do they have a point?
Well, I think they might have shot themselves in the foot. And let me first of all say I'm tempted to yield my time to the honorable member because, you know, she's someone who I think is upholding our democracy, you know, for a change. And it's an honor to be next to someone who's doing that, because Trump is the opposite of that. But they kept complaining about this being in private. And I'm wondering, well, do you really want this to be in public? Do you want all the people who've been behind closed doors to come out in public? Because when that happened to Nixon, it was pretty much a wrap. So I don't see why they would shoot themselves in the foot that way, arguing about process, not defending him. And then today you had, I believe, Mr. Morrison go up, who was an NSC staffer. And while he would not admit that what the president did was illegal in his opinion, it's not his role to determine that anyway or adjudicate that. He did corroborate what everyone else has said on the quid pro quo. So what do we have here? We had Nixon colluding with a foreign power in 1968, Trump colluding with a foreign power today, Ukraine and Russia, by the way, because the pressure and the leverage on the Ukraine also comes from Russia. They're at war with Russia, and Trump is allied with Russia. All of the intelligence agencies have talked about that relationship. That is irrefutable at this point. Mueller could not actually determine whether he directly colluded in terms of the campaign, but we know Russia's in the picture. You had Nixon with the tapes. You have Trump with the transcripts locked away in a server. We don't even know how far this goes. There may be other phone calls with other world leaders, and we don't know that there aren't tapes there. You had 18 and a half minutes with Nixon. You have ellipses with Trump, as Vindman testified to. So there are portions of what was said that was left out. And also on Vindman, the attacks on Vindman, and I just want to be very, very clear about this. This is a former Soviet Jew whose family left because of persecution. So Fox and everybody else attacks this man, which I feel is anti-Semitic. What did Nixon do? He went after the Jews, all the Jews that were turning against him in those paranoid rants on his recordings. He keeps calling Schiff, shifty, which is, for those who don't know, is an anti-Semitic trope. When you say call someone Jewish shifty, just like when you call someone sleepy-eyed, when you keep saying sleepy-eyed Chuck Todd. So you have all of this. You had John Mitchell on the enemies list. You have Bill Barr threatening to come after everybody who's investigated them. So the parallels are pretty clear.
Yeah, and there's a lot there that is important to get into about protecting the people who are going to come forward with the facts, which is why there are whistleblower protections in the first place, as you say, as there have been many discredited smears. I have to fit in a break. Congresswoman, what a busy day for you. And I know you're traveling as well, so I appreciate you being with us. Mark Thompson, always good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks to both of you.